Jerry, you've worked on huge movies over the years. How does this one stack up against some of the other big blockbusters? When you were on set, did you realize, wow, this is just as big as, or even bigger than anything I've done?
Yeah, it's an enormous movie. As you can see from the footage that we looked at in the trailer, it's gigantic. We built trains and we trekked those trains over 5 states and had an enormous cast of actors and a huge production behind the camera. So it was one of the fun adventures that took from February to October to finish. So it was a long journey, but a wonderful journey.
We have some questions coming in from our friends at Yahoo. Liz Swart wants to know from Army, what did it feel like to put on the mask for the first time? That's an iconic symbol.
There was a lot of mask things went on. We did a lot of mask fittings. It never really felt surreal putting the mask on for the first time. It was just more of like a bunch of us standing in a room with 100 different kinds of masks and just try this one on. Okay, no, try this one on. No, try this one on. Then try this one. And there was that one that just thunk, just kind of like went right on and just hit the bridge of my nose, right, and just everything perfectly. It was like, guys, I think we got it. So, I mean, I wish it was a more iconic moment. Instead, it was just like oh, this one fits.
Let's go with it.
Number 32.
But he looked great in it.
32 masks.
Nobody can tell who he is when he puts it on. It's
Yeah.
like a force field.
Piper from St. Charles, Missouri wants to know, Johnny, you've created so many great characters in your career, and you talked a little bit about the inspiration for Tonto, but talk to me just about the last couple of movies, and even the movies you worked on with Gore, kind of why is you guys maybe have a good thing going? This is, what, the 4th time you've worked together now?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
5, yeah.
Yeah, number 5.
Well, I mean, in terms of working with Gore, it's always a pleasure because it's always an adventure, not necessarily just in a physical sense, but an adventure into the character, and there's a shorthand, you know, that and a great sort of understanding and a great.
You said great.
No, there's just a wonderful kind of respect for absurdity and irreverence, which is the only way to go through life, I believe. And so there's just a kind of a thing that happens between, you know, when we work together that you know, we start feeding each other, you know.
We got some questions from our international friends around the world. Let's go down to Australia. Johnny, what was the most challenging part of shooting this film in particular? We've heard a little bit about the locations and obviously seen some of the stunts. What was the toughest part for you?
Most difficult thing was, staying alive when you're on a horse that's moving at high speed, and you realize that you're under it suddenly. So staying alive on the horse was really my biggest challenge.
Jerry, as somebody behind the scenes, talk to me about the challenges of a producer on a project like this. What was the first thing that kind of jumped out at you as, all right, we got to make sure we get this right, or this is going to be something that we're going to have to overcome?
Well, you know, it's an enormous undertaking when you're shooting in 5 different states and you're moving an enormous company behind the cameras, and we had horses and wranglers and horse trainers and just an enormous production. So I guess just moving that whole caravan from state to state was quite an ordeal for our crew and cast.
We got a question from our friends in Latin America who want to know, Army, which characteristic from the Lone Ranger's personality would you like to have and make your own?
I don't know. He's got a good buddy he hangs out with. That's pretty good. He's got a white horse. Everybody thinks a white horse is pretty
So all the
cool.
friends around him, but
it's not the actual
anything with
character,
him
yeah.
himself?
The extenuating circumstances, yeah.
Okay.
I also wish that I found a bunch of silver. That'd be nice too.
Johnny, this is coming all the way from China. What kind of characters haven't you played, but maybe would love to someday?
Carol Channing. I mean that. She's fantastic. Carol Channing. Another guy that I you know, would love to do the life story of is Don Rickles, which I don't know if he's well known in China, but he's a wonderful.
Here in Vegas, you got some Don Rickles fans. Yeah, there you go. Gore, this is coming from Facebook. Courtney wants to know, what was your most memorable moment filming the movie? Is there a day on set that really stands out?
Oh, God. No. There's not. There's not
for
a
the honesty.
day.
I
There's not a day. But, you know, you sit in the edit room and you work on the movie, and every image that shows up is like a sense memory of just absolute misery and pain and torture, and nothing was going right, and the weather was horrendous. And so I really, I'm just sitting here watching the clip. I was like, you know, it's like every shot comes up has a little bit of a history, because, you know, it's not just the movie, it's the process of making it, which is just insane. It's madness.